Hello there and welcome back to another ITH video. Now, next to me I have the Cupra Ateca. This is not going to be an ordinary review though, because see, this is a 300 horsepower Cupra and at home I have another almost 300 horsepower Cupra, so I thought I'd get them both here and we can do a little bit of a comparison. So this is a Seat Leon Cupra, this is a Cupra Ateca. Now it's a different badge, weird spiky spider bat thing, and the normal Seat badge. Both bronze though. Bronze is the way forward for the Cupra thing, apparently. Right, the Leon is an older model within Seat's range, so the Leon has always had a Cupra version, so this is still a Leon Cupra. A bit ago, a year or so ago, they decided that Cupra was going to become its own brand, much like Citroën has done with DS and things like that. So it's effectively its own brand, therefore it is a Cupra. This is not a Seat. You will not find a Seat badge on this car. Very interesting. So it's time we talk about the differences and similarities between these two cars though. Okay, first thing to talk about is the engines. They're the same. Right, so under the bonnet of these two cars, we have the Volkswagen Group EA888 engine, 2-litre, 4-cylinder turbo, same as you get in the Golf and the Seats and the Skodas and all of these lovely cars. In this car, it has 290 horsepower. In this car, it has 300 horsepower. They both send this power via a 7-speed dual-clutch DSG gearbox, which is fantastic and just shifts really quickly. But the difference being, the main difference I would say between these two cars, my Leon Cupra is front-wheel drive and this Cupra Ateca is all-wheel drive. Now the fact that the Ateca has got an extra 10 horsepower on all-wheel drive means that it actually gets off the line a fair bit quicker than the Leon. This does 0-62 in 5.2 seconds, this does it in 6 seconds. Now that is quite a big difference. You know, this will be sprinting quite a bit ahead by the time you get to 60 miles an hour. I mean, that's purely down to the all-wheel drive traction. It's nothing to do with the extra 10 horsepower. It's just the fact that you can get the power down a lot easier. And trust me, if the weather's been anything like it has been in the last couple of days, you can't get the power down at all in this. Now, another point to talk about when I've got these two here. I mean, obviously this is a bigger car and stuff. We'll get on to more of that later. This Leon costs $29,995 in its base format. The base format of the Cupra Ateca is $36,995. I mean, 7 grand more. That's quite a lot of money for really, you're not getting that much more. As I say, I'll get on to more of that later. But it would be remiss of me to not point out at this point, as we're talking about prices, that this car, this lovely $29,995, well, it's actually the Luxe version of this, which is a little bit more. But the Leon Cupra 290 Luxe is available on botb.com for you to win, and instead of $29,995, it is just £1.50 a ticket. Yes, £1.50. So you can go to botb.com and get a ticket for this. But wait, there's more, because we have just added the absolute top spec version of the Cupra Ateca as well, which is the Comfort, Sound and Design or something. It's got every bit you can possibly imagine, and that is on there for £2 a ticket. So go get a ticket and right, let's carry on with the review. Okay, so I thought I'd start talking about the looks of this Cupra Ateca. At the very base of it, the Ateca is actually a fairly bland looking medium-sized SUV. You can't get away from the fact that it's not actually that exciting to look at. None of them are. I mean, that's inherent in the design of taking a small to medium-sized hatchback and just stretching it upwards, basically. This has got a little bit of busyness going on with the fact that it's a Cupra, so you've got lots of levels in the grille and bits and bobs, and you've still got that awful badge, which I still don't like. Being silver, I don't think helps this. Well, it does and it doesn't. I'll come back to that in a minute. But this is silver, and this you can get in the standard spec, as you can see here, and you can get it also in a design spec. This I've got to say, looks rather bland in this silver on silver and sort of a few black bits kind of spec. But bear with me on this. That actually makes it quite a sleeper. You see, people think that this is just an ordinary 2-litre diesel or a 1.5 petrol Seat Ateca. They don't sort of quite get the idea that this has got a 300 horsepower engine and all-wheel drive. So this is actually one of the best sleepers I've ever driven. People just don't expect you to get in this thing and absolutely blast away from the lights. So in that respect, big thumbs up. The Cupra Ateca actually comes very well spec'd as standard. They all come with these nice 19-inch alloys, and you get all things like keyless entry, wireless charging, LED headlights, you get DAB, nav, reversing camera, all that kind of stuff, which is pretty nice, to be honest, on a standard on a car. But this is the comfort and sound spec, so you get things that sound good and are comfortable. So this gets adaptive cruise control. You also get things like heated seats, electric tailgate, and Beats audio. So you get a few little fripperies on there that you get to charge extra for. And you know what, it's pretty well spec'd, I've got to say. The heated seats are quite nice, I'm sure, on a winter's day. Yeah, another kind of big-ish thumbs up to Seat on this, sorry, Cupra on this one. God, that's confusing. Now I've got to say, I think it all does get a little bit better around the rear end of this. It looks very, very purposeful. You've got this nice little rear spoiler here, and you've got quad exhaust pipes. Now they definitely signify intent there, I think. In fact, I really do wish that my Leon Cupra had 4 exhausts, just because 4's always better than 2, isn't it? But one little thing that does really, what's the word I'm after? Grinds my gears, I suppose, is, and I'll bend down here, these little black vents here. They're just fake. I mean, they look good, but they're just fake. They're bits of plastic stuck in. Why? Just make them functional. It looks kind of cool, rallying-ish. So, as you can see, I mean, they're broadly the same sort of length, these two cars. The Ateca is actually 100mm longer, so 10 centimetres. Now, I've got to say, I can't see it inside or out. I think it's probably due to the extended bumpers. They stick out a bit more front and rear. So, yeah, that's that. It's obviously a bit higher. It's 1615 versus 1430. It's about 20 centimetres higher. That bit you can definitely see, and obviously you get better sort of ingress, egress, getting in and out, all that kind of stuff. But they're broadly the same width. So, you know, there's only, the Ateca is 25mm wider. I think that's probably down to the wheel arch extensions. So inside, outside, there's very little in it. But is that surprising? No, because they're still both based on the same platform. This Leon weighs 1,356 kilograms. That big chopper over there weighs 1,616. So it's 260 kilograms heavier. That's a lot. So what it means is 32 mpg average versus 39 mpg average. Now you go, ooh, what's 7 mpg when you've got 300 horsepower? Well, you know what? If you do 10,000 miles a year, the difference is about 300 pounds in petrol. Now that is not to be sniffed at. But of course, the fact that it's a bigger car means that it must be more practical, right? Well, let's have a look. Okay, so looking at the boot space in both of these, both with the seats up, there's quite a big difference here actually. You see the Ateca has got 485 litres, this has got 380 litres, so there's over 100 litres more boot space in the Ateca. Now, I would say, looking at these two, without getting a tape measure out, because, hello, this has got a slightly taller boot, and that's going to take up a large proportion of that 100. They are broadly the same width, because this has got the rear struts and all that kind of stuff, everything all sort of encroaches in. Biggest difference I can see actually is the fact that this has got a virtually flat load floor straight in, whereas this has got a heck of a big lip that you have to lug things over to drop them into the bottom. So yeah, I'm afraid, yeah, big tick for the Ateca on this one. It's also got these little handles here for popping the rear seats down. That's very handy. So, I'm going to do a quick test of both cars in the rear seat. Now this is, again, my driver's seat in the position I have it in. I'm quite tall, I'm 6'3", so it's quite a long way back. Loads of leg room here in the back. I've got enough knee room, and I've got plenty of headroom and a decent amount of shoulder room. Right, into the Ateca. Ta-da! And here we are in the Ateca. Now, same seat position, same leg room, same width. I've just got a whole lot more headroom. I could wear some sort of Abraham Lincoln style hat if I wanted to, and it would be absolutely fine. Okay, so that's all the comparisons between the two cars. I've already covered how the Leon drives in my other review video, so the last question really that remains is, how does the Cupra Ateca drive? Well, unsurprisingly, it drives very much like the Leon. I'm on a very twisty bit of road here. It's one of my favourite bits of road around here. And yeah, it shifts. Woo-hoo. Easy, Tiger. Jesus, does it move. I can definitely feel the extra weight over the Leon in this. And it all really manifests itself in the amount that it rolls, because you've got a lot more weight. I mean, as I said before, 250 kilograms extra weight, very high up. So you feel it pushes on and understeers more in the corners. And yeah, there's just that extra roll and a little less bite from the tyres. You can feel the extra grip when you punch it out of a corner though, thanks to the four-wheel drive system. Now, one thing that you definitely notice is, because this is set up as an SUV, it's got a lot longer travel suspension, which doesn't just mean up, it means down as well. So if you're driving, as I am, somewhat spiritedly down a road that's actually quite bumpy, which most roads are in the UK, and out we go. Wallop! The suspension is able to drop down into the big depressions that you get. It goes down as well as up, and there are some big bumps and there are some big dips. What it means is that the tyres stay in contact with the road a lot more, and it's not the best damping I've come across, to be honest. It can get a little thrown sometimes, but yeah, combine the amount of grip you've got from the all-wheel drive, the fact that the tyres are in contact a lot more, and the fact that you're sitting probably 20 mil higher up than you are in a standard hatchback. Oh, and 300 horsepower. And it means that you can get down a bumpy B road, such as I'm driving at the moment, a damn sight quicker than you expect. One thing I definitely noticed as well was the sound. Now, the exhaust note does seem to be slightly louder than in my Leon. It's definitely got more tone to it. Oh God, I said tone, ignore that. It's definitely it's just a bit louder. But that's outside the car, and you've got the windows down. When it's inside, it's a lot more suppressed, and there doesn't seem to be a sound actuator like I have in the Leon. Now that means it's not shouty outside, but you get a lovely burbly grumble on the inside, and I never ever thought I'd say it, but I actually missed that, because it really adds to the oral experience. Now, of course, I haven't really spoken about the interior yet. And that's pretty much because it's exactly the same as it is in my Leon. I mean, okay, there's a slightly different badge on the steering wheel, but the steering wheel's the same, the dials are the same, the nav, everything to do with the infotainment, the vents, the buttons down here, the AC system, the gear lever, the the electronic handbrake. It's all exactly the same. Not only is it the same, it's positioned identically, the door handles are identical. This is exactly the same as my Leon inside, apart from one tiny thing, which is there's a little dial down by the gear lever which selects your drive mode. So And actually, even though it's a little bit cheap and plasticky feeling, I prefer that to the button that I have in my Leon, which you have to press and keep pressing to get scroll through, whereas this you can just select Cupra mode when you want to. It is quick, but you just don't have that feel through the steering wheel that inspires you with confidence to push on harder. And that's the difference. Yeah, in the Leon it really inspires you, and it's a real animal to throw around. So yes, we've ascertained that it is indeed fast. It doesn't handle incredibly well when you're pushing on, but it's an SUV. When I dial this back into normal, into comfort mode, the gearbox sort of chills out a little bit, suspension chills out a bit, everything chills out, and this is a very comfy thing to drive. It's just a normal SUV then. Now the only real issue I seem to have with this car now, though, is to do with the seating position. I don't know what it is. There's something to do with the relationship between the seat height, maybe, the steering wheel and the pedals, but the pedals seem very highly set for me. I like to have quite a low seating position, and I can't seem to get that relationship between the three different things, the seat, the steering wheel and the pedals, to work in a nice way. Now luckily it does have adaptive cruise control, but that actually brings me on to my second gripe with this car. You can be driving on the motorway and I'm set to 70 miles an hour, officer. So I'm set to 70 and I'm cruising along and I come up behind somebody. Then you indicate, right? You indicate to pull out, and as with most ACC systems, as soon as you indicate, if it detects that there's nothing there, it starts to accelerate and pulls away. But this pulls away remarkably slowly. When you're in the different modes, when you're in Comfort, Sport and Cupra, that should dictate how aggressively the ACC works as well. I want it to get straight up to speed and to throw me against the horizon, so, but it doesn't, and I find that very disappointing. Okay, so that was the Cupra Ateca review. Right, very competent small SUV, big fan of it, but the big question is, would I have that over my Leon Cupra? No, I wouldn't. I love the fact that this is a little hot hatch. If I needed the extra practicality though, would I have it? Nope, still not. You see, I would actually have the estate version of this car. They do the Leon Cupra 300 ST. You get a much bigger boot, you get the same 300 horsepower that this has, and it's also all-wheel drive, still linked to the 7-speed DSG gearbox. And it also happens to sit slap bang in between the two in price as well. So it has all the benefits of all-wheel drive, the extra performance, it has all the extra practicality, the boot space, but you don't carry around all the extra weight of this and all that kind of stuff. So I'm sorry, if I needed the extra practicality, I wouldn't have either of these. I would have the estate version of this. So there you go, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it all the way to the end, congratulations. Please do not forget, subscribe, because we like that. And you can see all of our new videos that we've got coming out. And we've also got loads in our back catalogue as well, so go and check those out. And do not forget, both of these cars are available on botb.com for you to win for a mere pittance of £1.50 and £2 per ticket. And they do indeed go and they give away a dream car to somebody every single week. So thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye. Hello there and welcome back to another ITH video. Now, next to me I have the 300, start again, right. Yeah, that needs to move around. Done that wrong, Sean, I've done that wrong. Anyway, this is silver. I mean, obviously it's very silver, you can see that because I'm standing next to a silver car. But, yeah, you see, start that again. Okay, so spec-wise, the Ateca, I'll try that for a third time. Jesus Christ, Timothy, get a grip. Yeah, it does not satisfy the helmsman within me.